It definitely sounds like a bad night, Sameoldji. I hear you. Okay, so suggestions. You asked what did you do wrong. We weren't there. We didn't hear the whole context of the 2.5 hours of arguing. In game, from your description, it doesn't sound like you did anything wrong. What it sounds like you're suffering from is, as other commenters have pointed out, is a backseat GM. And that really means that this is going to come down to a decision between the two of you about whether or not that person is welcome at your table. It does sound like it does sound a little bit like they have difficulty letting go of being the GM. And as you get your feet under you and become more and more confident as a GM, if they continue to want to be your tutor in this regard, then that will be a difficult evolution. But that may not be the entire problem. It may be more that GM's style leans closer to the narrative, and that they do run games with a scripted story in mind, a specific outcome in mind, and are trying to turn the characters into heroes. Whereas in your game, they have to earn that. They have to earn every success, and they have to deal with every failure. And that kind of ideological difference between players is not something that can really just go away. I mean, until or unless they learn to enjoy the style that you're going for, there will always be complaints because they're expecting this kind of you're the hero of the story kind of treatment, where they can get away with things that maybe they shouldn't, and where they are much larger than life. In a style where you are actually serving as a referee for things happening in the game world, without a scripted story, if they're not taking care of themselves, if they're not trying to hide their evidence, of course people are going to track them down, and of course people are going to try and deliver the consequences that they have earned. I doubt anybody at your table is going to argue this, but they, or at least this person, may not get every time that that's what's happening. He may feel persecuted. And an example of this is what you mentioned about negotiation. He's got a character, it sounds like, which has a great deal of charisma-based ability, and yet he can't use it to get himself out of trouble. Now, in his game world, he would be able to. And he probably doesn't understand the rationale behind why, in a firefight with a bunch of drugged-out and vengeful gangers, he can't just stand up and say, "Hey, can we talk about this?" You described it very well. So, that's the issue that needs to be resolved. And he doesn't have to accept this game style. But if he doesn't, he has to accept not playing. It's one or the other. And it doesn't matter what style of game you're playing or what rule set you're using. If one person is given the responsibility of running the game, the other people have to try their best to play within it. If they're not doing that, why are they there?